This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're at the press conference to announce Matchroom and Eddie Hearn and Sky Sports' 23rd of March show at the Copper Box.
Thanks for getting that in there.
We can't forget what platform it's on. How are you, Adam?
I'm very good, very excited about this show. I think it's one of the best cards put together on Sky Sports in a while. Home soil, London, Copper Box, March 23rd. There's a fight for top of the bill, I think, with all these on. It's great. Charlie Edwards, terrific story, winning the world title just before Christmas. We had him on our broadcast for the Cheeseman night last weekend at the O2, and he was so refreshing. He's a great talker. He's improving in the ring, and now he's got to defend his world title. Wonderful to have him on Sky Sports in a few weeks' time. But then Joshua Buatsi going for the British title, and one we think it may be the start of many ahead in a tough fight. But Buatsi could be very special, and really excited about that. You've got the heat that Lawrence Okoli and Wadi Camacho will bring, Lewis Ritson as well, and Andy Townend. I mean, it's a terrific card, and I can't wait for it, KUGAN.
We kind of touched on this the other day in an interview that we done together with yourself and Eddie Hearn at the Wayne for last weekend's show. But from your perspective, Adam, is there a concern kind of since last October and the whole DAZN thing, the American market launch with Matchroom, that a concern, shall I say, that the eye would be taken off the ball in regards to Saturday night fight nights? Not necessarily the pay-per-view shows, but the regular Saturday night fight nights. With a lot of fighters fighting over there, a lot of emphasis obviously put on trying to build that American market with DAZN, etc. But is there a concern from your side here that could lack here over in the UK?
We've got to make sure that doesn't happen. You're absolutely right. I mean, there's a lot of shows now that Eddie is involved in, and of course we get the US content from DAZN. We've got 16 shows a year. It's fantastic. We've got a great lineup coming up. The likes of Katie Taylor fighting over in Philly on the Tevin Farmer bill. We've got Bivol and Callum Johnson and that night. So many coming up. We've obviously got Canelo and Danny Jacobs too, so we're benefiting from that relationship. It's great. However, you're absolutely right. We've got to make sure that at 10 o'clock at night, the big stars are coming through. The fights that people want to see domestically are happening. I've been on record and said I wasn't happy enough with last weekend's show with Ted Cheeseman's European title being the main event. And look, it was a risk for Ted. It was an opportunity, and these guys have got to have opportunities. It is a changing of the guard, with the likes of Bellew and David Hay and George Groves all retiring, and Anthony Croller and Ricky Burns and Amir Khan and Kell Brooks are the tail end of their careers. You need the new blood to come through. So yeah, we've got to take risks. We've got to make sure that these bills are top quality and that we get the right fights on a Saturday night, UK time. It is imperative for our customers, yes. And I really believe that this one on March the 23rd and the one the week later in Liverpool, March the 30th, are exactly what we need. So yeah, we've had words behind the scenes, Eddie and I. He's listening and he's going to deliver.
I mean, I'm not sure when it was, but I'm sure at some point before the DAZN deal, Eddie Hearn said that, his plan was to kind of make every Saturday fight night, aside from the next gen shows, because we kind of know what they are, but he wanted to put like a minimum of a world title fight on all these shows, the pay-per-views aside. So the one on the 23rd, it's Charlie Edwards defending his world title against Angel Moreno. So is there a minimum requirement as in regards to what's on stake in these shows as well?
We've just got to make sure they are very, very good shows of a top standard. We know that there's a big call for fighters to go to America. There's a lot of money out there, but we want to make sure, KUGAN, for our audience on a Saturday night, that Sky Sports gets the best, and that's what we've got to keep continually talking to Matchroom about, and making sure that, for me, the likes of Joshua Buatsi and Josh Kelly and Anthony Fowler and Joe Cordina and the new guard are there. But also, Charlie Edwards coming through, winning a world title. We've got Callum Smith at some point, hopefully, to come back maybe in May. And those are the sort of fighters we need, because, look, it's a huge sport at the moment, both in Britain and America. You know, there's a lot of competition, you know, with ITV now, with BT, with Channel 5. Obviously in the States you've got DAZN, ESPN Plus, you've got Showtime, Fox with this big deal now. There's a lot of people that want to be involved in boxing. All I can say, KUGAN, is that Sky have never ever wavered. We've been around for year after year, continually delivering boxing from a Sky Sports platform, from a Sky Sports box office platform when the really big shows are there. And I need to make sure that that is continually delivered. We can't have every sweet in the jar, we know that. We enjoy it. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, we want to see them fight again. We haven't got that. We're all interested in it. We all want to see that. And we want to talk about it. But we want to make sure that on Sky, we have the very best. And it's a tough battle. But I do think that like the 23rd of March and the 30th of March are proof that Matchroom are listening, that we are going to get great fights. They're great nights. And you had March the 2nd as well in Peterborough. That JD Next Gen show is really good for a JD Next Gen with Jordan Gill, Anthony Sims Jr. coming in. You got Riakpur against McCarthy. There's some really good fights there. And I think that, you know, March is going to be mad. There's going to be fights in the States, fights here. I think that the customers on Sky will get great value. And then when it is right to go on box office, we do. But we want to make sure that Sky Sports have the best. And I personally think that Canelo and Daniel Jacobs is the super fight of the year so far. Yes, we haven't had Wilder Fury announced. Yes, we haven't had Anthony Joshua next fight confirmed yet. But at the moment, that's the fight for me. And it's going to be on Sky Sports live, and we can't wait.
Speaking to Eddie Hearn a couple of weeks ago when De Gaulle, well, a bit more than a couple of weeks ago, but when De Gaulle and Eubank was announced, obviously, on ITV box office, he said that he quite liked the fight for Sky Sports. He said that Sky, and when he said Sky, I don't know if he was referring to yourself or Barney Francis, knocked the fight back. And can you just touch on that? And surely, because by looking at the schedule so far, that's kind of the fight that everyone is quite looking forward to. And it's, I suppose, a bit of a surprise for Sky to have knocked that back. I'm assuming they assumed, or you assumed, that the numbers wouldn't work.
I think, look, with Chris Eubank and James De Gaulle, it's a really good fight. No doubt about that. Excellent fight. We're all going to watch that one as well. I missed that out of my list, as well as, you know, Wilder and Fury obviously going on to BT. But yeah, it's a great fight. Good one for ITV to do. And look, it's a good story, isn't it? Two guys don't like each other. Both at the stage of their careers where they need each other. Their stars have waned. But yeah, it's a good fight, and I'm sure it was a fight that we were interested from before Christmas. However, there was also talk of Anthony Joshua fighting in April, which would obviously be on Sky Sports box office. There was much talk at the time of Amir Khan and Kell Brook fighting on Sky Sports box office in the spring. So, you know, we can't do too many of them. And it's just one of those things. I think, you know, the AJ situation has moved on because of the Dillian not taking the money and ultimately not agreeing the fight. So it looks like we're going into the summer with Joshua. Khan Brook didn't materialise. I can't tell you how disappointed I am about that. Wanted it to happen for so many years. Thought it was close before Amir took the turn to fight Canelo. Didn't happen this time. Should have done. Under the Matchroom banner. Both of them live on Sky Sports last fights. They should have met. However, Amir, and I never criticise fighters for taking their dreams, a lot of money, big challenge against Terence Crawford. Good luck to him. We hope he comes back with a world title, or certainly a great effort, and maybe the Brook fight can be made down the line. But I think the feeling probably was that Amir Khan and Kell Brook and AJ would have been a lot on Sky Sports box office in the first quarter of 2019. So look, as I said, we can't have every sweet in the jar, and we'll look forward to watching James and Chris go at it and see what happens after that.
Is your Sky Sports pay-per-view market specifically weighted heavily too much on Anthony Joshua? After that, I suppose the next pay-per-view fighter would be Dylan White, but is there too much emphasis on Anthony Joshua to kind of carry these pay-per-views? Where is your next pay-per-view star coming from? Let's
not say we have to carry pay-per-views, because we decide every time when a fight or an event is worthy of Sky Sports box office. And remember, we moved out of the pay-per-view market for a few years. We felt that there was too many of them. We felt that we become saturated with it, and also we needed a break. We wanted to get Sky Sports back up and running with great boxing. We did that through Matchroom and Eddie, putting on some terrific shows, which, as we see now, they are still delivering for us. Yes, with pressure, but they are. And look, I think with the pay-per-view market, Anthony Joshua obviously is our Sky Sports box office star, and we know he's going to fight a couple of times in the year, so you know that's guaranteed to Sky Sports box office events. But look, David Hayes retired, George Groves is retired, Tony Bellew's retired. There's a new guard needed. Dillian White, of course, in the right fight, in the right night. Talk of him going in April. Let's see if we can get the Povetkin fight made, which I think is the right fight for him, and I think that's a really good one. Stack up a heavyweight card, and we can go again. But it's got to be the right decision at the right time. Everybody's throwing their hat into the pay-per-view market, aren't they? We even had, unfortunately, 2 on the same night just before Christmas, which I didn't like, and 2 really good shows. So look, we need to be careful. I think everybody in boxing needs to be careful about going to the well too many times. We have to make sure that when we do, it's right. And yes, AJ is our lead man in that department. Of course he is. He's the biggest star in not just British boxing, but in world boxing, let's be honest. Hits the casual market. He's going to hit America, it looks like, in early June against Jarrell Miller, which I think is going to be a fantastic adventure. But pinning our hopes, no. We go with AJ and we go with whatever else we think is right at the time.
You said, just referring back to obviously the well-publicised clash on the 22nd of December last year, that it was something you didn't like. Is that something that you will actively seek to not happen this year, that you will clash specifically or not clash with pay-per-view shows with whether that be Frank Warren or ITV or whoever?
I don't think it does anyone any good, does it? Fight fans miss out. We missed out. I really wanted to see Josh Warrington and Carl Frampton fight live. The O2 was available that day. Eddie's talked about it, on record as saying, look, that was the only date we could get. Just a shame. No, I don't want to see it happen again. It could. It always could. But, in my eyes, if we can avoid any clashes, that would be good. Because everybody wants to get involved. Let's just think about the fans. For me, it's the Sky customers. It's what Sky customers invest in. They get a great package. They get the football. They get the other sports. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as they get the best we can do deliver, and that's boxing, not just on a linear Sky Sports channel. That's on Sky Sports News. That's on digital. That's on all the other platforms we have. It's a whole collective package on Sky. I want to deliver them the best I possibly can. But as I said, that doesn't involve everybody. And we should be watching, Josh Warrington against Kid Galahad, or whether it's obviously Wilder and Fury. We should all be watching that and not necessarily competing, especially on that sort of night. There's no point. So hopefully Eddie and Frank won't do that again.
Hopefully not. Just finally, obviously, we're still awaiting an announcement for Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte's next fights, which will supposedly take place in April for Dillian and June for Anthony Joshua. Can you tell us any more? Are we right to believe that that's still the case?
You and I have just seen Eddie out of the corner of our eyes, so I'll talk to him about where we are with the latest update. We saw Joshua Boazzi earlier in the week, and his team, and obviously that's the same team as Anthony Joshua. So I know they're in negotiations with Jarrell Miller. I would imagine now Dillian said live on Saturday night that fight is dead for him. He talked about the 3 others, Povetkin and Ortiz and Brazil. I personally like the Povetkin fight, but I think one of the 3 will be great. So it looks like Dillian in April and AJ Miller in June. I hope that's the case now. I think we need these fights announced. We need them made. The fighters need them made. The fighters need to know what they're doing. They're in sort of light training camp, and this has rumbled on a bit too long now, which is why, as you're saying, it's been a quieter start to the year. The Ted Cheeseman show wasn't the greatest on paper. We've all said that, and I also believe that we lacked out because Khan Brook didn't happen. AJ didn't happen in April. As I said, Eubank de Gales on ITV. So for us on Sky, it's been a quiet start to the year. March, it's every week. Then we're going to go in April, and maybe it will be Dillian Whyte. May we know Canelo and Jacobs. If it's June for AJ, suddenly things start to look very, very busy indeed. So I think for the fighters' sake, for Sky's sake, and most importantly for the fans' sake, these need to be made, and they need to be made quickly. So I better go and have a chat with Eddie.
You go and do that. Adam Smith, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Press conference is about to begin shortly, so yeah, we'll catch up with you again soon.
Cheers, KUGAN. Good to see you.